Let's take a look at some sports now. Here's Ayotunde Balogun.
The league management company LMC have rescheduled some games involving teams competing on the continent to accommodate the second leg or the return leg of the second round of fixtures which takes place this weekend. Nasarawa United and Eyimba International were scheduled to play outstanding fixtures from match day 2 today, but then the LMC have moved the games to March the 30th. Also, match day 8 fixtures involving these clubs, which were to hold on March the 23rd, has been moved to March the 24th to allow the club travel time after their return from continental engagements. These fixtures are Nasarawa United against Ikorodu United, Akwa United against Warri Wolves, and Eyimba up against Plateau United. A World Football Governing Body FIFA has applied to the United States authorities for tens of millions of dollars compensation from ex-officials indicted in the sport's biggest graft scandal for damage done to its reputation and business interests. FIFA will also seek a repayment of salaries and a full audit of a former top official it says has continued to live an extravagant lifestyle while on bail from a New York court. The Swiss-based body, its global administration is shaken by graft charges and tales of lavish spending that toppled its former head, said its US lawyers had filed a restitution request on Tuesday with federal prosecutors in New York. And holders Barcelona have eased into the quarterfinals of this season's UEFA Champions League with a 3-1 second-leg victory over Arsenal at the Camp Nou. Leading 2-0 from the first leg, Neymar slotted home a low finish to put the Catalan giants ahead. Mohamed Elneny lashed in for Arsenal in the second half, but then the Uruguayan Luis Suarez struck a stunning volley before World Player of the Year Lionel Messi chipped in a sublime third. In the second game, Bayern Munich came back from a 2-goal deficit to force a 2-2 draw against Juventus at the Allianz Arena to drag the thrilling encounter into extra time. A Crystal Palace striker Emmanuel Adebayo has turned down a recall to the Togo national team ahead of this month's Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers to focus on his club future. Adebayo, who has agreed to end his self-imposed exile from the national team, decided to postpone his return to devote himself to his uncertain situation with his club. The Federation of Togolese Football duly notes his decision and remains optimistic about the 28-year-old's quick return to the national team setup. Togo are top of Group A with 6 points from 2 games. And that's a wrap in sports news. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. The news at 10 continues shortly.
Now, the Moroccan government could be severing ties with the UN as it threatens to pull out of global peacekeeping missions in anger over a comment made by UN Secretary-General Ban Ki-moon on Western Sahara. Mr. Ban had visited refugees from the region a couple of weeks ago and said Morocco occupied the territory and annexed it in 1975. Protests erupted on the streets on Sunday. Mr. Ban, however, said Morocco's angry response had shown disrespect to him and the UN. Meanwhile, Belgian officials have identified a terror suspect shot dead during a raid in Brussels on Tuesday, as Algerian national Mohamed Belkade has been identified. Temitope Fakumi has more.
He was born in 1980 and had been living in Belgium illegally. He was not known to the authorities except for one case of robbery. He was shot by snipers while trying to fire at the police from an apartment window in the Forest suburb. The raid was linked to an investigation into the jihadist attacks in Paris that killed 130 people last November. Norwegian mass killer Anders Behring Breivik has testified that the state is trying to kill him after giving him 5 years in solitary confinement. The right-wing extremist is suing the government, complaining that his jail conditions break human rights law, but the state has denied this. He told the court it would have been more humane to shoot him rather than keep him like an animal for the past 5 years. Breivik murdered 77 people in twin attacks in July 2011. Finally, Republican presidential hopeful Donald Trump has won a decisive victory in the key state of Florida, though that victory was tapered with a loss to John Kasich in Ohio. The billionaire also won in Illinois and North Carolina. On the Democratic side, frontrunner Hillary Clinton extended her lead with wins in Florida, Ohio, and North Carolina. And that's the foreign news wrap-up. It's back to you, Joma.
Thanks a lot, Temi Tokwe. And the main news again. Tragedy struck today in Borno State following the bomb explosions at a mosque in Mole village, which killed 26 people, including 2 females who carried out the attack. Also today, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Solomon Arase, and INEC Chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, gave the assurance of adequate security and credible polls in the River State rerun elections on Saturday. And a prosecution witness has testified against the former Chief of Defence Staff and revealed how he allegedly helped Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade divert and launder funds. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Hijoma Bunyato. Do have a good night.